best way to show people not to do something is show them that there's an alternative, and we can live and breathe and do that alternative in our day-to-day lives.
Basically, you've got this fry-tol container here, and when you start it up on diesel, the fry-tol container heats up, the exhaust pipe comes out through here, up this peculiar, still hot, bit of exhaust pipe, and into here. In there, goes around there, heats up the oil, comes back out there, out through the muffler and out through the sunflower. So that heats the oil up, and then you've got this wonderful little bit of fuel line here, which goes all the way from there. When it attaches on, straight through here and through this filter and into the motor. You've got yourself a veggie powered Jenny.
Anyone doesn't know, this is a van that runs on veggie oil, and last year we did about 20,000 kilometres running on veggie oil, and it was all for free, and we just pick it up at the back of fish and chip shops. It's used old oil that they're throwing away, and so they're usually really happy when we come around and say, yep, we'll take your old oil and run our car on it. I guess we were driving around with a solar powered sound system and a wind powered cinema, and it seemed a bit hypocritical to be sticking diesel in the engine just to cut all this environmentally friendly stuff around. So we did what we could with what we had, and I guess we were inspired by the Bougainville Revolutionary Army. If they could do it with coconut oil and no other supplies whatsoever, then we could definitely do it in a desert. It doesn't matter if it's a generator or a tractor or a car, it'll definitely run on it. The main thing about it is you've got to heat it up. The oil is pretty thick and gluggy, and we have our roadside stop veggie oil service station. Veggie oil got a bit cold in the desert last night, so we're heating him up, getting him nice and hot, ready for cooking, ready for the tank. What have we got here?
Got my filter, my veggie oil filter, which I'm just about to clean. So I've taken all the bolts off. Oop, there's a bit of veggie oil. Pull the top off. You can see all the gunk in there. See all this? All old bits of chip and fish and donut and sausage and Chico roll and whatever. That's it, see?
Filthy filter.
One filthy filter, so it's a good filter, so that stops all that shit getting into my motor. See, there's the other side. It's nice and clean, and that's the stuff. It just stops it from going in. So I'm going to clean it off with a bit of metho or Caro, whatever I've got, even a bit of diesel, and put it back in, and I'm laughing. I'm doing, for one 20 litre drum, standard sort of drum of veggie oil, I'm doing about 130 kilometres.
So would you say it's better than diesel?
Yeah, at the moment it is actually better. At the moment on diesel I do about 120 kilometres on 20 litres, even 110. So yeah, it's good, it's much better. The things that you have to do if you want to run your car on vegetable oil is you have to build a heated fuel tank, and then you have to have a heated fuel line that goes all the way to the motor, and then you have to have a rewashable mesh filter, and then basically a couple of taps or a couple of solenoid valves to turn it on and off, and a good sized fuel pump, usually a good strong diesel fuel pump. And once you've got all that in line, essentially you can run your car on vegetable oil without a trouble, and it'll just run exactly the same as a diesel motor will. So the trick that we usually do is we actually start our car up on diesel, because our system of heating up our oil relies on hot water from the radiator. So we start up on diesel, that heats up the oil in the radiator, that heats up the water in the radiator, which then heats up these two pipes that come down and link into our vegetable oil tank right here. And we've got a big copper coil that goes in there, and the water goes through that, heats up the oil, and the water returns back to the radiator, and then the rest of that hot water also then goes out and around a jacketed fuel line, which goes all the way up to the fuel filter and then into the motor. So essentially we turn it on, rev it up for about 5 or 10 minutes, that heats up the water, which heats up the oil, and then bang, we can just change straight over to the vegetable oil. And at the end of the day, you sort of got to do the same thing, but just in reverse. We just basically run it on diesel for anywhere between about
2 and 5 minutes, and that's enough to flush the motor out.
Veggie oil, as far as I'm aware, can have up to 80% less emissions, poisonous emissions into the environment, and it smells good. It smells so good you can even put your nose up the exhaust pipe and it won't make you sick, it will just make you hungry.
Veggie power!
Woo! So music is a metaphor about